Mr. Investor, welcome back to the channel, baby. Today we're going to be talking about Bionano Genomics. Please remember, none of this is financial advice, for entertainment only. Today we're going to be discussing lots of research surrounding Bionano Genomics. There's also an important event coming up that you guys need to be aware of, which is the earnings call coming today. It's the Q3 earnings call, so we need to see that they've reduced their expenses, they've increased their revenues, they've raised enough money via the ATM so they can stop diluting us, because we're getting dangerously low to another reverse split to stay compliant. Market value is $1.41 here on Google. On StockTwits, it's $1.49. I myself don't have the investor confidence in Bionano Genomics that I used to. I still hold all my shares, so I had 54,000 shares at one point. After the reverse split, I have 5,400 shares, and I'm not sure what this earning call is going to look like, but I'm not hopeful. I'm literally just waiting to see how they build out as a business. I think that Eric has wasted a lot of money in expensive acquisitions, because he took on not only a lot of expenses by taking on these two companies, so 60 mil for the prep company, 100 mil for biodiscovery, the genomic analysis company, and that 160 mil, I think we were burning like 20 mil during the quarter or just over. That 160 mil could have lasted us a long time, and we were getting at some points in the quarters where we were closing sales of 20 Sapphire systems, 25, 30 Sapphire systems, and if we could have scaled it up and basically got the Sapphire systems into places like this to researchers who have sway, who are running pilot programs, who will then buy the Sapphire system, adopt it, and start running volume, which is what their plan was, then they could have saved the money, saved the hassle. Maybe they could have got the acquisitions at a later stage, or they could have solely focused on these. So these companies were all part of making a streamlined kind of optical genome mapping easy solution for customers, but now it's put them in a predicament where they've got high expenses and they don't have enough revenue still. Anyways, moving forward, let's take a look at this. Optical genome mapping, a game changer in the detection of genomic aberrations. This is by Tasmia Wahid. She already hosted this, so this was a 30-minute talk talking about optical genome mapping as a comprehensive tool for karyotype analysis. She wanted to share the advantages and disadvantages of OGM as a service delivery process. So who is she? She is a pre-reg clinical scientist, laboratory for molecular hemato-oncology, and she's also part of Synovis LLP. I think she's also coming out of Imperial, which is a university here. What's interesting about her is Synovis is a scientific organization with a clinical purpose. They work closely with the NHS service to set the standard for the future of pathology. They are indeed one of the largest pathology providers in the UK, and they aim to be the most innovative, so they're developing constantly these new tests, and the way they design, deliver, and improve their services, they want to prioritize innovation and make sure that they're at the forefront of it. In terms of laboratories, they run about 60 routine and specialist laboratories delivering world-leading pathology and testing services. So they provide these services to the NHS and private sector organizations, both in the UK and internationally. Moving forward, Peter Lagos Nagy, who is the Chief Medical Officer at Praxis Genomics, he has stated that genetic counselors are the best patient advocates that we have in the country, talking about the US. Can't wait to share the news about the new testing paradigm that Praxis represents, with combining genome sequencing, optical genome mapping, and transcriptome analysis. So as you can see there, he's got the Sapphire system there in the booth, a little banner of it, and he's probably talking to potential clients on lots of researchers about what they currently have. UCL, University College London, has won University of the Year for next year, 2024, and this is provided by the Times and the Sunday Times. So they won Good University Guide 2024, University of the Year. UCL is rated second in the UK for research power in the Research Excellence Framework, and overall in the world, it's ranked 9th in the QS University rankings for 2024. There's also been lots of Nobel Prize winners from UCL. A few researchers coming out of UCL. This is a research technician and neurogenetics PhD student at UCL called Natalia Dominic. Over a month ago, that she was grateful for the opportunity to attend Genomics England's 2023 Research Summit. And if you look at the research that they're coming out with at the moment, paper that utilizes or researches southern blotting and Bionano Genomics optical genome mapping. So this study is a mixture of Italy, University College London, and also Malaysia. It states in their abstract that the study concludes that optical genome mapping represents a viable alternative to southern blotting. 5 days ago, Bionano Genomics was also sending their senior staff scientist Andy Wing Chun Pang to go to the National Institute of Standards and Technology and the FDA's Genome Editing Mapping Consortium. So they were going to talk about how optical genome mapping can be useful in the workflow for cell bioprocessing. Coming out of UCL as well, you can see here Stephanie also sharing the paper. This one is FSHD actually, this paper, using Southern blotting and Bionano Genomics optical genome mapping. With children's cancer, pediatric leukemia samples, we can see here that Dr. Danielle Brandis from Heinrich Heine University and University Hospital Dusseldorf was discussing how a combined workflow of optical genome mapping and whole exome sequencing may enable researchers to better assess the mutational landscape in pediatric leukemia samples. 5 days ago, they were talking about PrEP here. So we've got Hamilton Robotics, a company that has a collaboration, a joint partnership with Bionano Genomics, and they were stating that, you know, one of the problems, and mainly the isolation of the ultra high molecular weight DNA that you need in order to put into Bionano Genomics Sapphire system, you know, if you're able to automate this, it would allow faster uptake of routine use, is what they've stated here. One of the speaker sessions involved Hamilton and Bionano Genomics, a speaker called Dominic Labster, and how together Bionano and Hamilton can fully automate the ultra high molecular weight DNA isolation with long string star V. Gene therapy is all the hype and all the news recently, within the last couple years actually, because some of the gene therapy medications or treatments go into the millions, right? And sometimes you only need a single dose in order to cure a disease. So this gentleman, Pabudu J. Sakara, will be attending. Actually, he already probably attended this. This is in October 17th, 2023. It's Jian Loring and Sam Doga Parasada from Bionano. They were talking about the optical genome mapping workflow, its applications, and how it can help drive cell and gene therapy programs forward by significantly improving efficiency, quality, and safety. There's a lot of money in gene therapy and a lot of interest at the moment. For example, at previous years at the Gene Therapy for Rare Disorders Summit, you've got packed out events, packed out halls where people are all there to see the latest innovation in gene therapy. So doing presentations in Berlin, Bionano Genomics, you can see there. This is actually tomorrow at the Crown Plaza Berlin, Potsdamer Platz, November 9th, 2023, from 10 until 6. We also have Mushumi, who is the head molecular biologist at Amrita Institute of Medical Scientists. Even just 9 hours ago that she was participating at the Indian Cancer Congress. This was in Mumbai. About a month ago, she attended this virtual online kind of Zoom class, which she was really excited about optical genome mapping and how it can be a valuable tool for diagnosing a variety of genetic disorders, including cancer. Yet again, another researcher saying, you know, optical genome mapping and its potential to revolutionize genetic testing. For me, was one of the most exciting ones because I managed to speak to Adam before at the University Health Network. We can see here, this University Health Network is like a kind of collection of hospitals in Canada. They've got 134,000, nearly 135,000 followers on LinkedIn, and they've stated our genes are the unique blueprints that guide our body's functions. And UHN is at the forefront of genomics innovation, from rare gene rearrangements to personalized cancer treatments. UHN's laboratory medicine program is changing the game with optical genome mapping technology offering 10,000 times higher resolution. UHN's LMP is leading the way in identifying genetic changes that might have otherwise been missed. This revolutionary tech is already making a difference in blood cancer diagnosis. They've also just recently acquired the Illumina NovaSeq and Plus sequencer, set to accelerate patient care by offering comprehensive genetic testing for a wide range of genetic diseases. The future of personalized medicine is here. This is really interesting. You know, the University Health Network, I believe that Adam has 2 Sapphire systems at the moment, and he might be looking to upgrade to the Stratus when the time is right. These guys are stating they're going to be utilizing the Sapphire system a lot, and they believe it's revolutionary tech and it's going to help save a lot of people's lives. This lady here, Dr. Wanda Maria Girding, her name was familiar to me, and you can see she's utilized optical genome mapping for cytogenetic diagnostics. One of the most viewed papers, actually, in the tumor microenvironment for cancer's MDPI. Her paper was one of the most viewed. It was in 2023, and if you scroll down, you'll see optical genome mapping for cytogenetic diagnostics in AML. Some of the most viewed papers in the cancer section, tumor microenvironment. And she actually won an award as well. She actually won the Lorzek Prize, won the Girding here, and this was for optical genome genome mapping reveals additional prognostic information compared to conventional cytogenetics in AML MDS patients. So not only is it one of the most read papers, she also won a prize for it. Did you know this new methodology offers greater accuracy? Genetic analysis is standard for fighting out the cause of leukemia and deriving the optimal treatment strategy for the disease, also known as blood cancer. The so-called optical genome mapping produced more precise information about the genetic basis of the disease in 2/3 of all cases examined. Finally, over in Turkey, they've also been discussing the use of optical genome mapping in autism spectrum disorder. There's been a lot of interest as well across the world. So here in Japan, about 3 weeks ago, I think I've shown you guys this before, Yannick-san, so Dr. Yannick went over there, and Masaya Asano, who is Aswan Corporation manager, stated that, it was pretty packed, and he introduced optical genome mapping for many researchers there. Finally, early on in the year, I saw this. This is a clinical scientist at Synovis Analytics, and they were seeking a highly motivated, experienced individual in cancer genomics to look at hematological malignancies, blood cancers. One of the things they'd be utilizing would be optical genome mapping. They stated that this is a developmental project, which is really, really interesting, because I think they're trying to embed, the Sapphire system into the NHS. Some researchers are saying it's too slow at the moment, so it's not fast enough with the amount of throughput that they need. They need a higher throughput. They're also saying that it's a bit expensive. This is actually at King's, so King's Hematological Malignancy Diagnostics Center, and it's part of the Southeast NHS Genomic Laboratory Hub. So these guys run high volumes. I've emailed them before actually, and they stated those issues to me. Looks like also Bionano Genomics is going back to the Festival of Genomics. We can see here 2024, the 24th and 25th at the Excel Center in London. They're going to be showing optical genome mapping or having some presentations on it, as well as a lot of other different techniques. So still waiting to see what they're doing as well a bit further up north, the NHS, in terms of, evaluating the clinical utility of optical genome mapping in diagnostic NHS genomics. So this was Gavin Cuthbert. Out of Oxford University, I emailed this guy before as well, Yang Pei. He was looking at optical genome mapping. So he was using Bionano Genomics optical genome mapping, as well as a few other techniques to look at structural variants in craniosynostosis. It's a birth defect where a baby's skull joins together too early, the bones in a baby's skull. So it can cause like a misshapen skull. The reason why I mentioned this name is because I saw his name pop up here. You can see here he's coming out of University of Oxford's Clinical Genetics Group, MRC Weatherall Institute of Molecular Medicine, Yang Pei. And I saw that there was actually a study on the 100,000 Genomes project where 31 cases were looked at. And with these 31 cases, they had to utilize optical genome mapping where they weren't able to get a conclusion from short read whole genome sequencing. So there was families and some unsolved cases where short read sequencing didn't quite do it, and they were able to resolve this using optical genome mapping and RNA analysis. Look at the size of it. It's only 31 families out of 100,000. But if you look at it, the data, the size of the amount that was not resolved was only 31 families that remained unresolved from the 100,000 genome project. Previously as well in 2022, they were using optical genome mapping, Bionano Genomics Sapphire system. This was Moorfields Eye Hospital alongside Birmingham Women and Children's Hospital Foundation, Oxford Hospitals and Oxford Brookes University. So there was 420 families. There was 73% of families that were unable to find an answer. So they were doing this study utilizing whole genome sequencing and optical genome mapping. If we go down to optical genome mapping bit as well, they were hoping that, optical genome mapping is quite a sensitive technique, and they were hoping to find some answers that were missed by traditional sequencing techniques. Dimitri over at Sheffield's NHS Foundation Trust. This guy's also high level. I think he's a consultant as well in genomics for kids, for pediatrics. I showed you guys this before in early 2023 when this was released. Genomic discoveries, additional omics data, and advances such as optical genome mapping have driven rapid improvements in the precision and speed of diagnosis of diseases in children and are now being incorporated into newborn screening. We have yet to hear and see from this, or this to be announced from Bionano Genomics, so we're waiting to see, are they able to get a position where they've got high volume in newborn screening, or is this just like a few cases where the unresolved cases, remain from sequencing, and then optical genome mapping plays a role in those. I'm wishing all of us the best of luck with the Q3 earnings call later today, and I wish you guys all the best. Please remember, none of this is financial advice for entertainment only. If you find any more research or information that you'd like me to cover and take a look at, please drop me some comments down below. Drop me a thumbs up as well, and I wish you guys all the best. I'll catch you in the next video. Mr. Investor Lot, over and out, baby.